I'd like to say hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tony Hollis Live Talk Show Testify. I was not planning on broadcasting today. I woke up this morning. I had, excuse me, I had quite a few messages um, from various people. Many of you know, um, although this is breaking news, actually, you all have heard actually what happened today. There was a police shooting in Osceola, Arkansas today. Um, there's a young man lost his life at the hands of Osceola um, police officer or officers. Don't really have all the information. But the reason that I want to broadcast tonight on this story uh, is because when the police department does not conduct a thorough investigation, cases will not be brought to justice. Why? Is because the prosecutor is the one that will be putting on the case. And the prosecutor has to rely on evidence that are collected by police and the criminal justice detective department of that particular municipality. In this particular case, we're talking about Osceola, Arkansas. There are some things that was done today, shall I say not done today in this particular case, that was very disturbing. We're going to talk about the crime scene. One of the things, the crime scene was not secured. Okay, uh, but for many of you who might not, well, not many, but in case some of you who may not uh, uh, be knowing what I'm talking about, I think I do have a video. We're going to play this video of the interview of this killing in Osceola today. So we're going to play that video right quick. And afterwards, we're going to come back and we're going to discuss, all the do's and the don'ts in terms of um, the police department who was supposedly had a complete control of that crime scene. Um, some things was done, some things was not done. And so we're going to talk about that. But first, let's go ahead and play this video, okay? So let's go up here and play it right now. Oh, man.
Family says a 33-year-old father of 4 is dead after he was shot by police. His brother claims it was all over a pack of cigarettes. No officers were injured in this incident.
The scene unfolding today in Osceola, Arkansas, about an hour from downtown Memphis. WRG Shay Arthur is live there tonight. And Shay, I know you've been there pretty much all day, where at times things turn pretty tense.
Hey, Greg. Hey, Stephanie. Yeah, a whole lot of emotion filled for hours really here. This now quiet street in Osceola. Tonight, loved ones of that man killed, they want answers. Overcome with sadness, loved ones come together in the rain as Arkansas State Police investigate a crime scene. Family says 33-year-old Kevian Jones died after being shot by Osceola police.
He loved life, and he had something to live for. He was loved by many, by his community. And we just feel like this was an unjust shooting, senseless. Every police officer on the police department course, they know Kevion.
A man who identified himself as Jones's brother says he was diagnosed as schizophrenic, the father of 4, well known to those in the community, as many gathered today at the scene off Donaldson Street with questions, with at times intense interactions with law enforcement. Overcome with so much grief, one man appeared to suffer a medical emergency and was taken away. Investigators have not released what led to the shooting, but Jones's brother says police received a robbery call to a gas station. He believes officers followed him to his uncle's house, eventually leading to the shooting. He claims it was over a pack of cigarettes.
The only thing you hear them say was, come out, come out. You never hear them say, put the hands up or none of that. You just hear them say, come out, come out. Soon, and then they just went to shoot. Pop, 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 pop. It's crazy.
Some relatives on scene told us they did not believe Jones had a weapon at the time of the shooting. His brother says he was licensed to carry.
It could have been handled another way. And then how many rounds does it take to kill a man?
Tonight, Jones's family says they want justice.
We're going to keep his name alive.
Stephanie Gregg, Arkansas State Police are handling this case. I did reach out to a spokesperson with the department and asked about those robbery claims. She could not confirm that information, but did tell me that Arkansas State Police investigators are handling this case and that no officers were injured. Of course, we'll keep you posted as we learn more. We're live in Osceola tonight. Shay Arthur, WREG, News Channel 3.
Okay, so that was the video of the interview from various family members, as well as I guess there was witnesses who was looking on. You all got to excuse my light. I wasn't planning on broadcasting today, and so things may look a little dark. Okay, so forgive me for that. But again, the call that actually came in. I got it up here on my screen here. And what I like to know, which is very important, everything go through the dispatcher. The police officer relies on whatever information that the dispatcher gives to that particular officer that is being dispatched to that particular scene. So I guess the question would be, when the call came through to the dispatch and the dispatcher sent it out to the police officers. So I guess the question would be, was the call in reference to robbery, or was the call in reference to a theft? There's a big difference. If I'm a police officer, there's a big difference how I'm going to respond to a robbery call as opposed to just theft. In other words, shoplifting. Okay, because when you hear of robbery, for the most part, you're thinking that the particular alleged suspect might be armed. So, an police officer is going to take every precautionary measure that he or she have taken during their training. Okay, they're going to put that training to work. And so again, the call that came through and the call that went out from dispatch, was it armed robbery or was it theft? Okay, because I don't have the information, but it's clear to me that when they arrived, not at the scene, to my understanding, this gentleman was either at home or over to a relative place, but I think it was his home. So he was not at the scene. There was one person a day, always wants to try to put blame on the particular person, deceased or what have you, thinking that this person might have did harm to someone. Okay. And so I had to straighten that out. Okay. It's not always that just because the police is called on you, it don't always mean that you are guilty of anything, because I think it's fair to say that we got a lot of Karens out there, and also we got a lot of Kevins out there. Karen and Kevins have gotten people killed. Okay. And so I just can't stand to hear these Karens start flying off at the mouth. All right. So again, uh, dispatcher, the call that came through and what she sent out, was it robbery or was it theft? Okay, so I think it's fair to ask that question, um, because if the police officers they're going to have a whole different mentality uh, of how they going to engage with the alleged person when they get on the scene. Okay, now at that scene, many of you saw the same thing that I saw, or I saw the same thing that you uh, witnessed today at the video. What are the, shall we say, if we want to talk about it, what are the fundamental, um, uh, say, things, if you will, or steps, if you will, um, when a police officer is at the crime scene? Okay, we're talking about things that are very fundamental. And one of the things that when you have a crime scene, in this particular case, especially a homicide, okay, when you have someone that is known to be deceased, immediately, not later, but immediately, the first thing that the police officers want to do is what? They want to secure and restrict access entry to that particular crime scene. Why is that important? That is important because they do not want anyone coming into the crime scene. Number one, if you shouldn't be there. Okay. Number two, there is always a case to where you may contaminate uh, 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 the crime scene. You know, you may step into some evidence. It could be blood analysis. It could be hair samples. There's a whole lot of things that can go wrong if too many people are in the crime scene that don't need to be there. So they want to secure the crime scene, number one, and have the strictest restriction in terms of who to come into the crime scene and who should not. Those are fundamental principles, if you will, in terms of uh, the do's and the don'ts on the crime scene. This crime scene that we saw today, uh, there was so much traffic uh, in the crime scene. Number one, the crime tape did not even go up. I didn't see it. Perhaps maybe you saw it. Yeah, one of the first things you do when you um, uh, take over that crime scene, you break out the crime scene tape, okay, and you go ahead and tape it off. However areas that you think that you need to restrict, that's what you do with the tape. I didn't see that today. So number one, uh, that is a ball drop. Okay, that's a ball drop. And while we're speaking of dropping balls, this was, to my understanding, either a police officer from Osceola or a number of people. When I say number of people, a number of police officers, more than one, who shot and killed this young man. So number one, Osceola should not even have been on the scene. If I'm not mistaken, I saw Osceola police officers at the scene. Mind you, this is a police officer in question who shot and killed this young man. I would think, unless the standard of investigation in terms of protocols and all, I would think either the Mississippi County Sheriff Department or the Arkansas State Police would take immediate jurisdiction of that particular case. But of course, I didn't see that. We did see the Arkansas State Police. I don't know how many was on the scene, but I at least saw one car. Arkansas State Police was there. Osceola Police was there. The Mississippi County Sheriff deputies was there. You got three law agencies on the scene, which I believe the Arkansas State Police should have had total jurisdiction, if not the county sheriff department, should have had total jurisdiction of that scene. That didn't happen. At least I didn't see it. Okay. So why did they not treat this homicide? That's what I'm calling it. I want to say murder, but I'm just going to say homicide. Why did they not treat it with the utmost care? You know, uh, doing their due diligence and collecting the evidence after they done secured the site, collecting the evidence. All right. How they would preserve those evidence. Was there anyone at the scene that they needed, or should there have been someone at the scene that was not at the scene that they needed? Like, for example, should they have reached out to some expert, say like what do you call those folks that work with the blood? I guess you call them forensics. People, experts who go out and collect all these different uh, uh, items, if you will, that we call evidence. That is a piece of hair, that is blood analysis, that is weapons, or whatever. Uh, were those people at the scene who needed to be there? If not, whoever had jurisdiction of this case, what did that law agency do? That it was the Mississippi County Sheriff Department, or that it was the Arkansas State Police? We do know now that the Arkansas State Police, according to the news, they have taken over this case. In other words, they're going to conduct their investigation. And in saying that, I don't have a whole lot of hope in the Arkansas State Police investigating. Number one, it was a sloppy uh, uh, securing of that crime scene, if you want to call it securing the crime scene. And again, the reason that I'm speaking of this here is because if the police department does not do its job whenever there is a homicide, if the police department, police detectives do not do their job, the prosecutor cannot do his or her job, because they rely on the physical evidence, witnesses, and ballistic report. What's that other toxicology report? There could be an autopsy report that is ordered as well. The prosecutor takes all that information and try to make some type of sense out of it, to where he or she know that they have enough evidence not only to take this case to trial, but hopefully to get a conviction. So, and let me bag up for a minute. I did get a call today. Well, not a call, I got a text. There are still cases here in Blyville that have not received justice. In fact, we have cases here in Blyville that done went cold turkey. In other words, what I mean is that, they just done collected dust. The criminal investigation department here in Blytheville, they just done gave up. That's what I mean when I say the case done went cold turkey. They don't have a lead. So they don't tell you that, but in essence, that's what it means. Case done went cold turkey. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to. They don't know what to do. So the detectives here in Blyville, they done went cold turkey. If it hadn't been for the Sky Cops that we purchased back here a few years ago, a lot of these cases will not be solved. Most of these cases that our police department brags about about solving is because the sky cop told them who did it. It's not like that they did some of this Sherlock Holmes, starting from scratch, picking up a piece of hair or whatever and make a case out of it. We don't have sophisticated uh, investigators of the such. They rely on the sky cop, and what we call snitching. Either somebody gonna snitch on somebody to give them a lead, or the sky cop gonna tell them who did it. Without a snitch and without the sky cop, we have criminal investigators. You know, it's just like a man that done went on a walk and he all alone by himself. Don't know which way to turn, don't know what to do. Okay, so that's where we at, and so hopefully, we can come back, and I want to have some discussions with you all as well. I'm going to turn it over. You can also you can call in if you like. You can call in to uh, my phone line here. Hopefully it's working right. The only thing I ask is that when you call in, so we won't get any feedback, make sure you're not uh, sitting close to your phone that when you call, because if so, we're going to get some feedback. So you might want to step in another room, or go ahead and pause your your cell phone while you speak to me. Okay. Other than that, we're going to get some feedback. All right. And so again, what I was saying was that I did get a text. There was a young man. Matter of fact, his grandfather is a very good friend of mine. Many of you know him, Charles Jones, who lost his grandson in Osceola uh, back a few weeks ago. What was it, about a month ago? I don't even think it's been a month, but he lost his grandson. Um, um, Very sad occasion. I did go and pay my respects as well to the family. Um, and I did get a text. And so I just want to say this, that most of you know that I've always said that I don't necessarily like to get involved uh, in black on black crime, because I am totally against black on black crime. But when you have a police department that who's not doing its due diligence, in other words, doing its job, they treating black on black crime in particular, they treating it as though it's just another person done died. They treating it like the norm. In other words, what's new? It's just another black person who has passed away. Our police department should never get in the mindset where they're going to be selective in terms of what cases they want to pursue and what cases they don't. That is a lack of care, and definitely is a very being disrespectful to the family. Every family who has lost a loved one to violence, they deserve justice. And I think the young man name is Jordan, I believe. Um, I've been getting information to where the police department hadn't conducted its due diligence in terms of uh, whether it's making arrests. I do understand an arrest has been made. Initially, they stated that uh, it's almost like they were scratching their head on trying to make an arrest. Eventually, they made an arrest. The family was also upset because of a low bond. Many of you know that I have a nephew uh, that live in the Osceola, Luxor area. Um, he didn't kill anyone, although I don't uphold his criminal act. But uh, he used a vehicle to where they claimed that he had the intent to run over some people. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say he got a six-figure bond, 100,000 or more. He didn't kill anybody, but he got a six-figure bond. And I'm not trying to pick on either family in this particular case. I'm trying to point out the discrepancy and the unfairness of our criminal justice system in terms of who they arrest, who they want to prosecute, who they give a low bond, and who they give a high bond. That's why I'm talking about this here. We got to hold our police chief and the mayor of that particular city. We have to hold them accountable. The police department is up under the supervision of the mayor. So Osceola, if you're not happy with the police department um, not doing its job, then you need to be calling upon your mayor. The city council, all they do is control the budget. Okay? The city council has no power over the police department, although they can take a vote of no confidence in their chief and have the chief removed. But the person who has immediate supervision of the police department is your mayor. All right. So call upon your mayor if you're yet in a situation to where you're not receiving justice. You need to call upon your mayor and demand justice for your loved one. Okay. And so when I do reach out to this, reach back to this person who made contact with me today, remember, this is not about me going against one black versus the other. Whenever there is a problem with our criminal justice system not doing its job, being biased, or selective policing or whatever, whenever they do that, that affects us all. Could be me, could be you, could be one of your loved ones, your friend, your coworker, your neighbor. It could be someone else that you know that the very same thing can happen to. And so when we see the police department is not doing its job, the court system is not doing its job, the city officials, the mayor uh, is not doing their jobs, you must call them out. Okay. Now, I did jab down a few things over here. Let me go back there. We did talk about securing restriction and access of the entry to the crime scene. That was one thing. Okay. We also talked about the lack of respect to the deceased and the family. You know, no crime tape went up to my knowledge immediately. What I'm saying, I'm not talking about what they did, you know, 10 minutes later or 15 minutes later. That's a long time, y'all. We're talking about a homicide. When you get somebody just putting up uh, crime scene tape and they've been on the scene for 10 minutes, that's a long time. The case can be lost in that 10 minutes. Okay. Because somebody might have compromised or contaminated the crime scene by entry of their body, etc. All right. And so that was something that took place. And we also talked about, for those of you who just tuning in, the call that went out. Was it a call meaning that it was robbery, or was it theft? Totally two different things. Okay. One is more serious than the other. And if I'm a police officer, I'm going to respond differently to each of those. I'm going to treat a robbery, armed robbery call. I'm going to treat it as if this person is armed and dangerous. So when I get on the scene, I am prepared to use deadly physical force if I have to, as opposed to a theft. I don't think it's nowhere in my mind, which, you know, some of those cases have went south as well. But I would think that between armed robbery and theft, you're going to have a whole different perspective in terms of your expectation when you get to the particular scene. Okay. Uh, and those pretty much all the things that we want to talk about. But again, basic fundamentals of how to work a crime scene. uh, securing that crime scene, collecting the evidence, and by all means, do not let anyone into the crime scene who has no business there. All right, those are basic fundamental principles that should have taken place that did not take place. Okay, uh, but anyway, let me see here. Uh, I don't know why that call just hung up. Someone was calling. Let me see if I can get this caller back. Uh, See if I can get this caller back. Okay. Let's see if we can get this caller back. Y'all give me a minute here. When people try to call in, I don't normally use this thing, but when I do get a call to come in, uh, I try to make it my business to take it.
Hello.
Yeah, on a Tony Hollis Live talk show, Testify. Go ahead, caller. Did you call in early?
Yeah, I did just call in. I was listening to your show, and I think it's a tragedy what happened, and I I really believe that the Blytheville Police Department, especially their CID unit, looks the other way on a lot of things and is focused on other things and not where they should be, especially with the murder rate there. And hate to see black on black crime. I know what the demographics of Blytheville are, but
Uh-huh.
even if Blytheville was 80% white, 20% black, you'd see 80% white on white crime. So it doesn't matter the color. It's just the police department. It doesn't hold people accountable. And the CID unit, in my honest opinion, is just an absolute joke from what I've seen in the past. And you were right when I was listening as far as the city council not being over the police department. However, and it came close a couple of years ago to voting the mayor out, but the mayor does have control over the police department.
That's correct.
Needs to be 100% accountable and things like that. I mean, you can't replace a life, not knowing all the facts and who was wrong or who was right, but somebody's dead now, and that shouldn't have happened.
Exactly. And just to be clear here, although rightfully so that your comments are being made about Blytheville, uh, but in this particular case, just want to for clarity, I want the listeners to know that this particular shooting that occurred today was in Osceola, Arkansas, who pretty much have dropped the ball just as much as Blytheville when it comes to investigating crime or what have you. And so,
well, and Tony, they work in concert together. I'm sure you're aware. So when I say
oh
Blytheville,
yeah,
I can easily include Osceola in
Uh-huh.
on that. But they work 100%, as you know. They work in concert together. And if it wasn't, I was watching earlier, if it wasn't for some of these new robotics, which, in my opinion, the Osceola actual people, police department and Blytheville Police Department probably don't like, because these things are doing their jobs.
Mhm.
And the robotics should be paid more than some of these officers if they're not going to do their jobs.
Well, let me ask you this here. Since we're speaking about the police department, and I'm gonna get back to the show a little bit. My viewers, y'all just hold on. Let's talk about the police department in terms of their supervision. Um, why do you think here in Blytheville? I know that this particular incident occurred today as Osceola, but just in Blytheville, we have had a police chief, probably one of the longest serving police chiefs, probably on this side of the river. Okay. So why do you think uh, it has been so difficult? I know myself, I tried at least 2, 3 times to have the chief removed, and I failed all 3. Um, so why do you think that we have a different mayor now for the Blytheville Police Department? Why do you believe that there has not been any changes in the Blytheville Police Department leadership, with the exception of John Frazier, of course? You know, he's the assistant chief now. But other than that, how is it that taxpayers are supposed to feel good about the police department if the mayor believe ain't nothing broke? So why try to fix it? Do you think that the mayor should have made any changes thus far? She's what, 8 months in now, and there has been no changes with the Blytheville Police Department. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, in my honest opinion, it's just my opinion. I think she should have made a change. It's and I don't care female, male, whatever. It's still just a good old boy system, in my honest opinion. There
Uh-huh.
and there have been, but watching Blytheville, having various relatives that still live in the Blytheville area that are there.
Uh-huh.
Looking at the crime rate and everything, and how Blytheville is always in the top 10 under the size of the town and everything on crime statistics and such, all that under the current chief. I would have made a change in a heartbeat. And when you mentioned John Frazier, and I'm not going to mention my name, but John Frazier used to work for me, and I can't believe I know who the previous assistant chief was,
Uh-huh.
and in my opinion, probably would have made him chief, in my opinion. But and John came from the CID unit, and that CID unit is one of the, my honest opinion, most corrupt, broken things that Blytheville has. If it wasn't for these robotics and people tipping other people off and this and that,
Uh-huh.
I don't think, I think it'd be much worse than it is now. I think the robotics, I bet you the CID and others in the police department really probably can't stand these robotics because it's doing their job, and it does it honestly without bias to color, creed, party, or anything else. That's just my opinion.
Well, all right then, sir. I won't mention your name either, although I know who you are. And I thank you for your time calling in to Tony Hollis Live Talk Show Testify. Don't be a stranger. And I really enjoyed all those good points that you made in regards to police services, etc. And so don't be a stranger. Come back and tune in, okay? And as I always say, that at any time that you have an issue that you need to get out to the people, this is your platform. This is the people platform. So don't be a stranger, okay?
I believe it. Thank you, Mr. Hollis.
All right. You take care now. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a caller expressing his views, his opinion, that is, on his thoughts with municipal police department, both Blytheville and Osceola. And so I'm gonna go to my board right quick and see if we just got a call. I'm going to pause on my comments and I'm gonna go to the board. If there's any, many of you are saying hellos. I get back to you on the hellos. Sister, some of you don't like me to mention your name. I always say that I don't know what's the crime. You don't want me to mention your name. It's not like you're guilty or something. You're only watching a show. I mean, and so if you get to watch the show in secret, I might accidentally call your name, and it's just didn't mean to, but I accidentally call your name. The best thing to do, if you want to watch the show and you're not sure if I might mistaken call your name, just don't tune in. Just watch the rerun. When I conclude my broadcast, then go back and watch it. But I like to acknowledge my viewers. If you can take time out of your schedule to sit with me for 1 hour, then I think at the least, I think it's fair that I acknowledge you. I may not do all, but I try to do most of all. That's Sister Anderson. How you doing? My lovely aunt, love her to death, Aunt Lou, Miss Brandy, how you doing? Miss Williams, Denise Williams, how you doing? Miss Sandra McBride, Miss Luster, Miss Kim, Miss Lomax. Uh, I can go on and on and on, uh, brother Farad, Sister Tam. I will come back and I'll get some of the rest of you later. But let's go up here and see if we got a question up here. Do we got a question? I'm looking for questions, okay? Or if you make a point on a statement, I will do that as well. Um, that's Miss Williams. She's sending out her condolences. We got Sister McBride. Blow that up a little bit. Wow, boycott the gas station right now. Nobody go there. Make them broke or break them. I think she was referring to the um, the business who claimed that this young man uh, was stealing. Let me correct myself. I even started out earlier. I don't know if this business made a call in using the words robbery, did this business use the word theft? Now, I saw on the news to where the brother had stated that it was over a package of cigarettes, which is a misdemeanor. Okay. So if it was over a package of cigarettes, then that's what the call should have been. It should have been reported, not saying that this young man stole anything, but if the business person uh, uh, knew, in fact, that it was theft and not robbery, then the correct information should have went to the dispatch. I'm not saying that it didn't, but for the police officers to go to his residence armed, and I imagine they had on their mind to take him out if they have to, and which they did, then I just can't see them want to shoot and kill a man over a package of cigarettes. So it's important for the attorney. I know that I'm going to be doing my FOIs when that information is released. I like to know from the radio transmission. I'm going to do an FOI on that. What call went out to the dispatch from this business? Was it robbery or was it theft? Radio transmissions will tell us that. Okay. Uh, and so, due to the fact that I'm operating my podcast, and so I can't actually advocate uh, any action against this business. But I will say that this business, if there is any proof that the wrong information was given to the dispatch, then I would think that that family, that would concern them greatly. Let me just leave it at that, okay? Uh, okay, so let me go up here and get this off. Okay, where we at? And thanks for your concern, Sister McBride. How you doing there, Miss Luster? My brother Farad. It's a did he have a gun or the rumor false? Again, I asked that same question myself. Was he armed? Did he have a weapon? Because if he didn't have a weapon, I can see the justification to where he was shot multiple times. I'm not going to put a number on it. I heard he might have been shot as much as 5 times. Some say 10, some say 15. But I think just to be fair, this young man was shot multiple times. Okay, I think that I think I can. I'm comfortable with saying at least that. Okay. And so don't know if he had a gun or not. Uh, okay, we have another comment. To to later say evidence was compromised, tampered with, so they won't be able to use it later. You know, it's very important. I imagine you talking about the crime scene. Um, uh, I really do have my concerns. Was it something that they missed? It's not so much what they collected, okay, but it's always what they did not collect. By so many people entering that crime scene in and out, and even after the police left, you know, this is almost like, you know, go on about your business. You know, there was I wasn't going to show that there was still blood in inside the doorway, uh, uh, even into the entry of the, I guess that's the living room. Uh, Nothing was cleaned up or anything. They just went on about their business. You know, I just very, very sloppy, uh, if you want to call it investigative work, how they secured the crime scene. I tell you, it's I don't know what the prosecutor gonna be able to do with that. You know, I just don't. Uh, but anyway, in terms of trying to hold the police department accountable for what one may think being reckless. Okay, uh, so where are we? Um, and also we have criminal analysis. Exactly what, you know, I talked about that. Um, we got they all work together, and we know that in the county should have shouldn't have been there either. It should be, I guess that's JB Jonesboro or Memphis or other departments there. Well, that's not the way it actually worked. Miss Lomax, whenever there's a police shooting, in this particular case, it was Osceola. Uh, unless the rules have changed, they normally turn that investigation over to the Mississippi County Sheriff Department, and then eventually the state police will come in, and they may take total jurisdiction over the case. And so that's actually the way that it operates. But I agree with you. You know, you have uh, county police officers that know municipal police officers. They could be neighbors, they could be relatives, they could be church members. Maybe their kids play on the little league baseball team, whatever. And so there is that possibility to where uh, one can also have his or her concerns, even if this case is being handled or investigated by the Mississippi County Sheriff Department. Now, I'm not alleging that the Mississippi County Sheriff Department is dirty, but I think, especially in cases such as murder, homicide, whatever you want to call it, I think that this case should strictly be in the hands of the Arkansas State Police. Okay. Uh, and we also have uh, that's uh, that's Michael. Totally BS. Blythe Police Department is nothing but a bunch of incompetent, gunslinging hillbillies. I hear you, brother Michael. Uh, and who else we got over here? We got Miss Lomack. The witnesses in the house said he didn't have no gun, and he was running in the house, and they shot him in the back. You know, I've heard that as well. That the young man didn't have a weapon. Some said he had one. Some even stated that he either raised a weapon or he shot at the police officers. Of course, all that is hearsay. Nothing has been released, and so I don't know. And so I'm treating it like a rumor. Okay, so but that I did hear those same rumors. Those same text messages were sent to me because that was the very first question I asked: was the young man armed? Okay. Uh, so where are we? Okay. I think there's another one. Uh, I thought I saw another one here. Dun, dun, dun. That's Miss. Okay, that's Miss Okay, now we got one right here. Uh, Again, this is Miss Anderson, or one of my church members as well. Um, that's this is another prime example of what happened in Osceola. Uh, Sister Anderson, she lost um, I think she referred to this young man since she raised this young man, I'm told, uh, uh, more like a son than a grandson. Okay, but her grandson, as you read there, was murdered. Uh, and of course, she referring to I guess, the investigative uh, actions, if you will. It was sloppy, and they made a decision without a formal discussion. The police never ever came to us. They don't care. This city is horrible, horrible. And my condolences to the family in Osceola. Again, Sister Anderson lost her grandson. To this day, no one has been held accountable for her grandson's death. Um, there has been uh, rumors of that investigation might have been compromised, uh, contaminated, contaminated. Excuse me. A lot of things that should have occurred that did not occur. Same thing. There's allegations, but I'm talking to my sister, and um, this is no words of mine. I'm relying on what my sister is sharing with me, and I don't think she'll lie. But the investigative work, if you want to call it that, no one was charged. Um, there were serious concerns of how her grandson was shot, the multiple times he was shot. Um, Nobody was held to account. Young man is dead. Young man is dead. And nobody held to account for her grandson's murder. Again, this is why it's important for me to speak on this issue tonight. If there is going to be an opportunity for justice, we need the police department to do their job. Okay, they must do their job. There cannot be selective policing. There cannot be biases the police department in terms of uh, who they serve and who they don't serve. But it's a shame. Sister Anderson grandson, to this day, still no one has been held to account for her grandson murder. And so she's sharing firsthand uh, uh, of what she uh, feel for this family um, who has just lost their loved one. Okay. Uh, uh, I may not get all these tonight, you all. I'm gonna try, uh, do my best. Uh, okay. Again, another example of the biases in terms of placing a bond, high bond on some, and a low bond on others who might have had a more serious offense than the person who has the high bond. Well, Miss Lomack and my 16-year-old daughter on a 700,000, what's that, $700,000 bail for an accident. You know, there you go. How do we get to the point to where we being fair and how we assess bonds on particular people that come before the judge? How do you treat an accident, or in some cases, uh, just a terroristic threat? You know, you intend to do something, but you didn't carry it out. How do you give that person a higher bond than actually the person who actually not only had the intent, but they made good on that intent? They killed a particular person, but that person gets a low bond. Do you see where we're going? Miss Lomax just, I told you about my nephew. Now she's telling you about her daughter. You know, how some people who can get a lower bond for murder. Okay. Uh, okay. I think she got another one. She's saying, and was nobody, and nobody was hurt. Just a little paint off the other car. Let me blow that up for y'all. She stated it was just a little paint off the other car, and we went to court last week. And how they can't find the police report. And that's another thing. Stuff have a very strange way of coming up missing. You know, uh, and y'all also we're gonna talk about that another show. You all still getting them speed traps down there, like going toward the school. Y'all need to catch on. They still giving tickets out, uh, even when school is not in session. And I heard something real stupid today. They saying that even when school is not in session, if that speed limit say you better do, I don't know what it is, let's just say it's 15 miles, 20 miles, whatever, you come through there doing 35, 40. Uh, to my understanding, I don't know if it's true, but this particular person today said that the judge say whether school is in session or out of session, you don't supposed to be speeding. I don't think that's the intent of the statute, but I'll go back and read it. Uh, okay, where are we? Uh, Okay, I'll come back and I'll read some of these rest. The call is over. The call is right. They are a joke and they don't care. That's just Anderson. Okay, we got a lady, Miss Miss Kirby. Uh, cause you gotta know somebody who knows somebody, or nothing will change. That is so true, Miss Kirby. You know, it's about who licking the boots and who licking the butts. Uh, of the particular person who can grant them a favor. You know, boot licking and butt licking is something that people will disgrace themselves uh, to avoid punishment. In some cases, they just do it and don't receive nothing in return of value. Okay. Uh, What else we got? And y'all, if you need to make a call or whatever, because when I get through with these, I'm almost at the bottom. How much time we got? We got about maybe 3 to 5 minutes. I try to get as many as I can. I won't just uh, shut down on you if you have something that I see. Okay. Uh, you can call my name because I'm not scared of them. It's uh, Sister Lomac. I hear you, sister. I know you. I know you got courage, Sister Lomac. I respect what the caller said. Okay. Oh yeah, you're referring to the gentleman who was speaking on the Blythe Police Department. All right. How about you, Oxiola? We just had a caller to call in about the Blythe Police Department. How about you, Oxiola? We had this incident today. You know, can I get one of you to call? Can I get a call to come in from Oxiola? I got one from Blythe. How about you, Oxiola? Uh, you don't have to be afraid. If anyone tried to uh, uh, pick with you because you calling in to the Tony Hollis Live talk show testify, so then it becomes my bill. It becomes my business. You know, because I feel like they're trying to uh, uh, shut me down or shut you down uh, by not hearing, uh, by not having given me the opportunity to hear your concerns. Okay. Uh, that's my brother here. That's my cousin. This Keith here. I ain't saw you in a long time, brother. I know sometimes you take a break from the book. I understand that. But me, I just can't get away from it because, as you know, there's so many things going on now. Uh, but anyway, someone was saying on a recording of the shooting that the officer involved in the shooting said, "I'm going to sleep good tonight." Please tell me that's not true. Well, that's why it's important for us to get all of the voice recordings, the body cams, the radio transmissions, We need to get all that, and we can get once we get uh, uh, a listing of all those things that goes into a police officer day-to-day public servant, that is, in terms of how they do their job, the gear that they take out with them, that it's a body cam, that it's their radios, or the same go with the dispatcher. Once we get all that information, hopefully we'll be able uh, to review that information, and then we can come back. We can have that discussion. But Cuzzo, I'm definitely going to be sending my FOIs. I know they're not going to give me nothing now because the case is still what they call fresh, and they probably is not going to release anything at this point. But I do plan on sending out my FOIA, FOIA, that is. For those of you who don't know what I'm speaking about when I say, sometime I say FOI, sometime I say FOIA, or I say FOIA. That stands for Freedom of Information Act. Sometimes you may hear me just refer to it as FOI, Freedom of Information, but it's called FOIA, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Okay, and so I definitely will be looking for that because um, and we have Miss Ashley, was that Heyman? Yes, it's true. It was said. Uh-oh. Well, cuzzo, uh, someone done gave you the answer that you've been looking for. Now, if that is true, if that actually is true, and that officer is identified, that officer should be immediately terminated by the police chief. We don't need police officers like that uh, who brings that mentality to the job, because a mentality like that is not protecting the community, but it's just the opposite. You are, in fact, a danger to the community, and you should have nowhere being given an opportunity to work as a public servant. Okay. Uh, and this is our last comment. I'm at the bottom, y'all, and look like I went 2 minutes over, but it's all good. Uh, this is coming from Sister Davis, Osceola, Arkansas. Hello, Tony. I was at the scene this morning. I know, my sister. I know you be on it, and I thank you for your community involvement. I do know that if I miss something on the south end of the county, I can depend on you and a few others to reach out to me. In fact, I had 2, 3 people reach out to me today that gave me the news, and I thank them as well. I won't call their name; they know who they are. Okay. But you was at the scene this morning. I observed it, the policemen wearing body cams. If the footage is accurate, then the truth will prevail. Oh well, if the way I understand body cams, although I'm not saying that you might not have somebody who know they in hot water and may not try to uh, and may try to compromise, uh, or shall I say, do something illegal to their body cam. But it's one thing that I do know, that those body cams, there is a company that service those body cam. In other words, there should be a what is called a mainframe. So everything that is being recorded on my body cam, I'm just saying, if I have a body cam, I don't care if I destroy it or what have you. There should always be a backup to the main server, whoever has been given the contract to service Osceola uh, body cams, what you call it, radio um, transmissions, what have you, walkie talkies, or whatever you call them. A company should service uh, Osceola Police Department, and so those things should still be. There should also be a backup somewhere. What I'm saying. So regardless of what they do, personally with their body cams or what have you, uh, a real uh, wise attorney, uh, they have their ways of getting that information. And so do I. Okay. And so we at the bottom of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We did get through all those questions. How you doing there, Brother Steele? Um, how you doing? That's Brother Steele there reaching out to me. Um, uh, and then we have as Miss Deacons. If he had the body cam on, oh, trust me. Um, with that many police officers out there, and that's what is so good about body cams. Um, for the most part, you're always going to have at least one police officer is that going to obey the rules. Okay. So if you had 3 police officers out there on the scene and 2 of them decide to shut off their body cam, 9 times out of 10, that third cop is going to think about it. And for the most part, uh, what the other 2 uh, was trying to hide, that third police officer uh, probably have the goods on them. Okay. And so, but what we need to do, I don't know if Osceola have one, but I'm going to be checking back with Blythe. I sort of put that on the shelf. What am I talking about? There should be a policy for any police officer who come in contact with a civilian. Okay. That it's a traffic stop, that it's a pedestrian stop, which means someone walking or what have you. Whenever the police officer come in contact with a civilian to where he need to conduct some police business, that is a warning or that is given a citation, that is to make an arrest or what have you, the body cam need to be activated for any police officers within so many seconds when they come into contact with a citizen. If that body cam is not activated, serious disciplinary actions should be assessed against that police officer. And so we need to hold our city council and especially the mayor of your particular city, that it be Blythe, that it be Osceola, that it be Manila, Luxor, Wilson, or wherever. You need to hold your city officials and the mayors of the respective cities. You need to hold them accountable. Have them to pass a policy that will uh, uh, assess disciplinary action against any police officer who do not activate their body cam in a timely manner whenever they coming into contact with civilians. Okay, so we will be trying to work with that. Don't know if he had his body cam on, but I'm pretty sure someone had their body cam on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my show. Uh, I want to say that you all come back and catch me again uh, this Sunday. Uh, don't know exactly. I got 3 shows that I'm trying to figure out which one I want to go first, and I also had a person that reached out to me today that who wanted to somewhat speak about um, will I give them um, some type of assistance, if nothing else, making my platform available to hopefully keep their cases alive when it comes to trying to get justice for their families. Okay, and so hopefully something can be worked out because we must hold police officers accountable when they're not doing their job. You've been paid by the taxpayers. Talking to the police officers now. You do not get to choose who you want to serve and who you don't want to serve. Anytime that you come to that decision or that way of thinking, if you will, that you want to serve some and others you don't want to serve, you need to immediately turn in your badge, go and get you a job working on a garbage truck, digging ditches or whatever. But certainly as a public servant working for the police department, you have no business working as a police officer in the public servant uh, employment, none whatsoever. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and conclude this show. Um Again, I will be in contact with you all. Was there anything else that I needed to give for as uh, an announcement before I close? I don't know. Um, can't think of it. But anyway, we know we got school issues on both ends of the county. We'll probably talk about some of those things as well. And so, you all have a blessed remaining night, and hopefully, we can come back sometime next week, and we can do it. We can do the same thing that we have been doing since this year. Y'all, we're halfway through. I'll be shutting down soon. You know, I go on break, and around Thanksgiving, just right around the corner. We're in August now. Okay. So you all please join in and tell a friend and tell a friend to please always come back and be part of the Tony Hollis Live talk show Testify. Uh, I love having you all tuning in, participating. It just makes me feel good knowing that you all find this show to be one that you enjoy week after week. So again, catch me this Sunday, Tony Hollis Live Talk Show Testify, and we will try to get started around 6 o'clock, hopefully no later than 6:30. All right? Peace and love. God bless, and good night.